Little known fact about BPRD is that if you read it backwards, if you read the whole thing backwards, it's actually Lord of the Rings.
I was wondering why they destroyed the ring at the start.
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Yeah, with the bit in there, like the wraiths. Did you not?
Really explains a lot.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, all that grassy plainland happened
There's
at the very end.
What did you? What
The pictures were
Did
very pretty.
did you? Hello.
Hello, we're Nerdpool.
Today we're reviewing BPRD, Plague of Frogs, Volume 1. Rory, should you tell us a little bit about the book before I do the synopsis?
Well, BPRD is a spin-off series from Hellboy, and Plague of Frogs is the first of a two-part series.
It's written by Mike Mignola and Guy Davis with various artists such as John Arcudi, Jeff Johns, Michael Michael Avon
Denning,
apparently,
and
Scott
and
Collins,
more,
and a bunch more, and Christopher Golden, who works on Michael.
who is Andmore? It really does sound like a name.
And more. And Christopher Golden, who's working closely with Mike Mignola on his new graphic novel, Joe Golem. That's why I got confused. And The Drowning City. So, if you want to know a little bit more about that, watch our Monday vlog. So, if you want to hear the synopsis, then watch ahead. If you don't,
Run out of the room screaming.
I was going to say click the link. There's a link.
Link.
Yeah,
right
don't-
now.
We already said it's a spin-off from Mike Mignola's Hellboy series. Hellboy worked for the BPRD, the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, and just before the beginning of this book, Hellboy has quit to go and explore more about himself and why he's here, because he's in fact the son of Satan, but you don't need to know that. The basic characters are Johann Kraus, a German medium from the 1800s who died and came back as a ghost inhabiting a bodysuit made by the BPRD.
I would love to meet him.
Roger, a homunculus found in an Armenian basement on one of Hellboy's most famous and intriguing missions. Liz Sherman, a pyrokinetic woman who's been troubled since a very young age after she burned her family to death. Abe Sapien, a fishman found underneath a Washington hospital with only the date of Abraham Lincoln's assassination on the tube in which he was found, prompting the BPRD to name him Abraham. And finally, Kate Corrigan, a doctor who's a high-ranking official within the BPRD, but then, as the book goes on, becomes more and more of a field agent. So, also it might be worth mentioning Tom Manning, who's the BPRD's director, though he isn't in it very often. Now, the book starts out with, just after Hellboy quitting, Johann Kraus coming to join the BPRD. Something I like about that bit is the fact that he's wearing a hat and sunglasses and a big coat over his bodysuit. I just don't get him wearing glasses. Like, he doesn't have eyes. He sees all the way around. That's why it's transparent
Maybe it's
all the
to
way around.
disguise the fact that he has no face.
Maybe it's
That
to make
could be
him
it.
feel more human, so people can relate to him more and don't feel as scared by him.
Yeah. It goes through the Hollow Earth story, where they explore what's happened to Liz. She went to Agartha, which is this monastery, in order to control her pyrokinetic powers. There are some themes to do with Liz, and is she perhaps the saviour of a secret race? Maybe? That's a recurring theme throughout the BPRD. But this book just sort of throws together a lot of different stories. It doesn't touch hugely on the main story, which is the battle between the BPRD and the frog monsters. The frogs are Ogdru Hem, which ties in with the Ogdru Jahad, which is the seven-headed dragon, which is the big villain behind everything in the Hellboy series. Those frog monsters, they are lesser Ogdru Hem. They're big, huge monsters. They are terrifying, but they only come in much later on. But the main recurring story is to do with fighting these human frog monsters, which have been plaguing many cities, sewers, dark corners, and alleyways everywhere.
Like Tommy.
10%.
A lot like Tommy, actually.
It's not
If Tommy was you,
Do
Right.
they have toad monsters as well?
Toad monsters? No, they just have frog monsters.
Aw.
Hence, plague of frogs. Toad monsters?
But they
That's a
could
bit far-fetched, isn't it, Rory?
They could do a sequel then.
Ridiculous.
This just... You're just getting worse and worse. What next? A giant monster by the salt sea breathing red smoke into the cloud. Wait. No, they do that later on. A German goat? No. A man made of herbs? No. A fishman?
A fungi man?
I'll think of one, and you'll be... That. No, they do that too.
Sounds
yeah.
like a fool.
Mm.
Evil teddy bears.
They do that.
Yep.
Okay. This book brings together a lot of different stories, not just the whole BPRD team, but also from individual members. For example, it's got Abe Sapien, Drums of the Dead, and Abe Sapien versus Science, as well as a couple of almost bonus stories about Lobster Johnson, the all-American hero of the Mike Mignola universe. And he's very amusing. But the book does end just before a story called The Dead, which is sort of the beginning of a really intensive frog monster storyline, like the really story-heavy part of the BPRD first cycle. So that I found that kind of annoying. Anyway,
I was just thinking.
okay, so that's the end of the synopsis.
Yep. Hello. Welcome.
Welcome back.
Ooh, hi.
You can stop crying. And really, was the throwing up necessary? I mean, it's just a synopsis.
It's everywhere.
So what did we all...
I liked it. It was good.
Tommy, what did you think of this story?
I thought it was a very compelling story. I thought that the characters, the development in them was incredible.
Is
What
he
did you
just
think of
blurting
the
out words?
illustrations?
What did you? What
The pictures were
Did
very pretty.
did you have a favourite part, Tommy?
I thought the teddy bears were a very good bit.
Why?
Because one of them had an eye patch.
Did you have a favourite quote, perhaps? A favourite thing said?
A theme.
I'm thinking, Tommy.
We're just teasing at Tommy. He only read in as far as looked at the pictures
It was-
and got a
it was
gist
more-
of what happened.
It was more a
Not-
scan than
yeah,
a read.
it wasn't a huge in-depth analysis.
But the pictures were delightful.
So Tommy, what did you think of the art?
Oh, I thought the art was very, very nice.
Okay.
And it was very... The monsters looks brilliant. And well done.
I'm going to be pretty biased in what I thought because I
Yeah.
love A, Mike Mignola, and B, Dark Horse,
Mm.
and they're two entities who've had more than enough to do with this. So I just adored it. Cormac, what did you think?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It was a nice, compelling story, without having to be too grim. Walking Dead.
No, it's like this. Not having to be too grim. Walking Dead. What? What?
Yeah, but it was still compelling in a way that it really did draw you into the characters and the stories and how it developed them throughout the compilation that we had.
I think quite a lot of points there were ones that I also said.
Yeah, but he
I
actually
feel
meant
I
them.
have nothing left.
No, no.
You're the one who read it most recently.
Rory, what did you think?
I loved it. It
You
was
loved
it was pretty darn amazing.
Are you looking to collect BPRD in the future?
I will see how much money.
Tommy, did you have a favourite character?
Yeah, the evil eye patch teddy bear.
Okay.
Did you name?
What was
I
his
really
name?
mean recurring character, like BPRD agent, hopefully.
Yeah, was he not a BPRD agent?
He was a monster.
The same could be said for Abe.
So Tommy, who was your favourite character?
Well, I felt that because Abe has very nice colours in him, that the pictures of him were very lovely.
Well,
His
it's
colours
contrasting.
keep changing.
Yeah, we couldn't. The artist didn't seem to be able to decide if he was blue or
See.
green.
That's
That-
the problem.
Maybe he was
That's
feeling
why
sick.
It was nice.
That's
there
the
was some
problem with
variety.
and more. I mean, what about his hand?
Cromac saved this situation.
I would have to say my favourite character would be Roger, because he always seems to have a positive attitude, and I'll get back to my favourite part.
I think I might be able to guess
Yes.
your favourite part
But
from Roger.
He's just a really nice character.
Okay. Rory, who is your favourite character?
Johan, because he seems sort of the most powerful in a way.
Most powerful.
Yeah, in that he
Okay.
could see more than other people could, and,
Over 9,000.
and
Yeah,
could
sure.
take the unrecently dead.
My favourite character is also Johan, because I can't remember if he really comes to the fore in this book, but certainly from the overall BPRD series, I really like Johan or Abe. Like Abe as the leader of the team is very funny.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the fact that he doesn't entirely want to be the leader. Like basically he becomes leader when Johan and he are walking through a cave and Johan's just like, well, you're team leader now, and then Abe's just, oh, how do you figure that? And he says, well, I'm dead and I've only just joined the team. Liz is missing and Roger isn't human. So I figure you are. I figure you're the closest thing to a leader we've got since Hellboy resigned. And so he's like, oh, I guess so. Yeah, but I really do like Johan or Abe. So
What about Big Teddy Bear?
I have no feelings regarding the big teddy bear, as he's not a recurring character.
So Tommy, what was your favourite moment in this?
I have a moment of
Don't
favoritism.
just say the bit with the teddy bear.
It was the bit with the big white head monster guy, like the priest who turns like
What, the
people-
mushroom guy?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
him when they first
The Church of the Frogs, yeah.
unveil his head, and I was like, because it was a pretty picture.
It's a pretty picture of a guy with fungus on. There's
There's this religion who are worshipping the frogs, and there's also a sort of underground religion of monks. They're the same guys who trained Liz. They kind of believe she's some sort of saviour, and also there's this prophecy that the frogs and the old Ruham definitely will destroy all of mankind. But then after that, if the spirit of humankind can remain, it will be Liz or someone else with fire powers, and she'll cleanse the entire world so that it can start again.
If I might add, pretty might not have been the best use of words. I'm going to change that for interesting. It was an interesting picture to look at.
So, the religions I referred to earlier in the synopsis, one who's are, sort of pro frogs. They are the ones who like they've got one of the guys who's like sort of half mutated as their like priest or savior or whatever. That's what Tommy's talking about. Cormac, what was your favourite bit?
My favourite bit, I'm fairly certain you can guess, is when Abe is talking about how he's having this dream, which is sort of linking back to his sort of general origin that they briefly explore towards the end of this volume. And then Roger comes in and says that he had a bad dream as well. And it's sort of, it's not really black and white, it's more brown and white.
Sepia.
A sepia, yeah.
Yeah. Of him having parents and being a normal child, and he has a round toy on this lovely plinth, and he goes out and plays with it and gets struck by lightning.
And that makes him sad.
Yeah,
It does make him sad.
I do love. I love Abe's reaction. I had parents and a round toy, and then I got struck by lightning, and then Abe just sitting next to him.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's a bad one.
Mine was worse.
In a Hellboy story, which you haven't read, which ties into this because it's all one big sort of interweaving prophecy stuff. When Abe harpoons Rasputin, the Mad Monk, Rasputin says that Abe was going to die the same way. Sorry, you were saying Abe's death scene is your favourite bit. Is that what you were saying?
No. I was
No?
curious
What?
about that bit.
I don't know this. Okay,
I was getting off topic and asking that.
Rory, what's your favourite bit?
My favourite bit would have to be Liz in dealing with those zombies. Zombies, Liz, fire.
I remember
As a
that.
guess, does she burn the zombies with fire? That was tricky to figure out.
I love
I
to do
respect
mind
Fred.
puzzles at random intervals.
Not very challenging, my puzzles.
So Eric, what was your favourite part?
My favourite part was probably the same as yours, because I love Roger. And then Abe, who's having an actual deep character development, and he's really struggling internally, and then Roger just sort of bullshits him, just like I had a dream I was a child with parents. I had a round toy. And then you can just tell, like, it doesn't show Abe's face at this point, but you can just tell that he's just going,
Another bit I loved about Roger was in the Souls of Venice story. He falls in love with a goddess statue, and then later on, in the Plague of Frogs section, it cuts to different people at the BPRD, and it cuts to Roger, and he's reading up on a book about Roman goddesses. I thought that was nice to link back.
I think actually I'll change my favourite bit. My favourite bit was when a flashback to their origins, and Abe's and Liz's. So you got Liz in this holding cell, and then and this guy in a hazmat suit comes in, and and with her food, and she reaches out to take some of it, and he panics, drops the tray, and runs out. And then someone on the other side of the door is like, "Are you okay? Did she burn you?" And then Hellboy's just like, "This is absurd." Just storms in. They're like, "You have to wear a hazmat suit." He's like, "Are you serious? Really?" And he just goes in there. And then she's all curled up on the bed, and she's just like, "Aren't you scared I'll burn you?" And he's just like, "Nope," lollipop, which is great. And then the other bit is when Abe has been first. It's Abe's origin, and he's in this tube in the BPRD, and they've been just like chucking dead fish with him for him to eat, and so there are these fish carcasses. It's horrible. And then Hellboy comes in, and they're just like, "No, we're in the middle of some crucial tests." And he's like, "If you don't remember, I grew up with the BPRD tests, and I know that you'll just carry on going until someone says that's enough." And he climbs up to the top of the tube and goes, "Well, guess what? That's enough." And pulls Abe out, and it's great. And he's like, "Come on, buddy, I'll get you a ham sandwich." Okay.
Then there's Roger's origin, which is...
I don't remember that one because
It's a
I've
bit where
read
he's
the
sort of
actual origin story
He's
of
like
Roger.
locked up.
Oh, do you mean Abe Sapien versus Science?
Oh yeah.
That's cool. But I
have 3 minutes.
Huh?
3 minutes.
Oh Lord, no. Okay.
Run,
do we have any last thoughts?
Teddy bears are cool.
Right.
Pretty good book. I will have to read the next one.
It is a good book if you've read it. So, last thoughts. I really like this.
Yep.
So, score on a scale of Aquaman to Deadpool.
Tommy.
I think it's appropriately placed Hellboy.
Fair
Because
enough.
although I didn't actually properly read it, what I gathered and what I've heard, it's made it sound pretty bitchin'.
I'm going to give this collection a half Hellboy, half Deadpool, because I really did enjoy
Sweetness.
some of the intricacies to some of the plots, and I love the characters so much. It was a great read.
Great.
I think I will have to agree with Chromac, because it had the awesomeness of general awesomeness, but could have done with a tad more humour maybe.
I liked the story, but I didn't like how it ended just before the story got really, really good. Because that's only because I've read the rest of the story and I know it
That
gets
would be
so
the
good
issue,
after this.
because most of it is just filling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it did range quite a lot. That while the stories were kind of gripping, you wanted to get back to the story. So I'll say, as it ranged, it ranged between Iron Man and Deadpool. There were moments when it was absolutely Deadpool, but
Yeah.
then it
Yeah,
got a
of
bit
course.
more Iron Man. That makes Iron Man sound bad. I love Iron
hate
Man.
Iron Man.
Fuck you, Iron Man. What the hell's that? Seriously. Metal suit? God. We'll see you in our next video, which will be
Maybe.
Monday vlog,
We could try and get a
Minecraft,
Minecraft.
Walking Dead, something.
Yeah.
It'll be a thing,
Yeah.
and you will be there.
A long video of Tommy
To
sleeping.
witness the fitness.
Okay, we'll see you there.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.